If you ask me, and well, a few other million vehicle enthusiasts in North America, no segment right now is more exciting, and I will use the word exciting, than small trucks. And when I say small trucks, I mean anything that is not full size. So essentially, I'm bunching in the small trucks and the mid-sized trucks together. I mean, just over the last few years with the Santa Cruz and the long-standing Ridgeline and the upcoming new Tacoma, which I'm really, really looking forward to driving, as well as the new Ranger, I don't know. I love these small trucks because, you don't have to, even if you have a cottage or you do have to tow 4,000, 5,000 pounds worth of stuff, you don't need a massive full-size truck. Most of us will manage very well with something a little bit smaller. And even so today, even though it's been around for a couple of years, the Ford Maverick still captures my attention. I mean, I love the Tacoma, I just said it. But this thing, for its design, for its quirkiness, for the packaging, everything about it just absolutely speaks to me. And it's great fun to drive. Yeah, I'm telling you that now already because that's what I usually do. But this specific edition just brings the Maverick one level up. You may have noticed a little bit of the goldish copper orangey decals and design flaws, additions to it, and as well as this. That's because the Tremor package just does the Maverick absolute justice, and in my opinion, it just should be selected on all Mavericks sold. Speaking of Mavericks sold, they're still very, very hard to come by. I mean, this is not quite the unobtainium it used to be. Things have changed quite a bit with the hybrid and the 2-liter EcoBoost versions. I'll tell you a little bit more about that in a moment. But I am absolutely enthralled with this small truck. And if you're thinking about it, I mean, don't. Just get one because it really does double as a family vehicle with a smaller bed, but it's still a very capable bed. Anyhow, we'll do the walk around as we always do of the Maverick, and then we're going to take it for a really, really fun drive. Please hang in there. Okay, so if we jump right into aesthetics, I mean, I still think that the Maverick looks fantastic. It's like playful but serious at the same time. Visually, the only thing that's buggers me a little bit, these things. They're like way oversized headlights. They take so much real estate up front. It's a little bit exaggerated, but everything else about the proportions, like the very short overhangs in the front, well, that's part of the Tremor package because it's got different bumpers. But the relatively decent or generous rear overhang in the back, and right down to the stamping of Maverick on the rear tailgate and the off-center license plate holder is just amazing. Pricing in the US, $23,400 for the base XL. Lariat starts at $34,855. This is no longer what was supposed to be the affordable small pickup entry, because the XL now starts at $32,600. And the funny thing is, in a way, I suppose, is that that's with the 2-liter turbo and all-wheel drive as standard, because the hybrid now is a slightly more expensive option. In fact, depends on the trim, but typically it's pricier than the 2-liter turbo EcoBoost engine. And then the Lariat starts at $43,500. Standard 8-inch display, as I said, the 2-liter 8-speed auto, all-wheel drive, 17-inch wheels, Apple CarPlay, Android Auto. I mean, it's got what you need for $32,600. Stepping up to the Lariat, because that's what this Tremor is based on. You get 18-inch wheels, power driver seats, LEDs, and yes, the Tremor package, which is $3,900, but includes these unique wheels, the Wild Peak tires, different front and rear bumpers, the decals on the roof, the decals, and the light divider bar thing, tow hooks, skid plates, and an increased ride height. I mean, this thing, has up to 9.4 inches of ground clearance now, which is just, it's magnificent. I say raise them all. As it sits with the Atlas blue color, you're looking at about $47,000. Not exactly cheap, but definitely works for me. Um, I mean, for truck owners, right? The only iffy part is that you have to deal with a 4'6" box. But you got accessory outlets, you got all the rails, and this has the tough metal spray and liner. And the cool thing is that, as always with the Maverick, is that you can just reach into the bed without having to climb on a wheel or something like that. So that works out quite nicely. Speaking of quite nicely, this is left the tripod in the way. Oh, kids' toys. What I love is the quirky part, right? These handles, you can grab them by the top, the side, the bottom, multiple bins there. It's just superb. And as always, you can always get some accessories that you can buy to accessorize the interior on top of the exterior of your Maverick. Yeah, I mean, Ford does trucks okay, or better than their SUVs in many cases, and well, what's left of cars, although I haven't seen the S650 yet, but again, the door handles, the details, it just so works. And yeah, here we go. So Tremor, contrast stitching, power lumbar seat. I guess we'll just slide on aboard. Start it up. It's getting windy out there. Okay, so there's your 6.5-inch display, so a bunch of stuff shows up there, and you have your analog gauges. There's the 8-inch display, which is standard. Everything works. It's supposed to. Works. Oh, what am I doing wrong? Oh, there you go. Hello. Now we're talking. Okay. Normally it works quite well. The only thing is that it feels like, or it looks like it's tilted forward, which is kind of unfortunate. I guess it's to minimize reflections from the sunlight. But the good thing is, audio controls, HVAC controls, and in this model, heated steering wheel, heated seats. Works beautifully well. Good storage, wireless charging for the phone. And yeah, here's the important stuff. So you have your Tremor drive modes, which show up here. Yeah, okay. So it starts out normal, and tow haul, that's normal, slippery normal too, but then mud ruts, sand, and then we're back to normal. So those last two are what you get with this trim. Locking rear diff, it's, storage good. I like the rugged but playful. It really mimics the exterior design. You think it'll last. I think it should last, and it looks good. And speaking of looks, visibility is generally pretty good. So until you get over here, it's a little bit, it works because you're in a small truck and you won't do too much damage. But yeah, I think that's it. Let's go for a drive. I just put it in drive, and I remembered now. Yeah, I didn't mention it in the video because I didn't use it, but now it's still slightly of something of an issue for me. I mean, sometimes you go from D to R, but you skip the R because you flick it too fast and you end up in P, and that's kind of annoying, but I suppose, you work that out eventually. As I mentioned, now the standard engine is the 2-liter EcoBoost 4-cylinder turbo engine, which absolutely does this small truck. It turns into a small rocket. I'm not even remotely kidding. 250 horsepower at like 5,600 RPM and 277 pound-feet of torque at 3,000 RPM. That means if you're not careful, not that you're going to get the front wheels to spin, but you're going to take off a lot quicker than you thought you would. 8-speed automatic transmission has been flawless so far, and well, obviously the driving conditions are beautiful right now, so there's no, there's no slippage, and I didn't go off-roading, even though it is a Tremor. Though the last Ranger Tremor, I did take it off-roading. But look, suffice it to say that I'm going to wager that 90% of everyone who picks out a Maverick Tremor or even a Ranger Tremor will not take their truck off-roading. Probably the same thing with the F-150. So the important thing to know is that the dedicated off-road suspension on this truck, which increases ride height by just a little over an inch if memory serves, has zero negative impact on the ride quality. In fact, it's surprisingly civil, perfectly adept at handling, in-town drives. It's working out very, very well. I'm very happy with this little truck. I mean, if I had just a half a reason to get one, I think I would. because now that the kids are out of the big seats, that's actually doable. And the other one with the big seats, because the seat back is so upright, it was very uncomfortable for them, or the seats would be pushed forward too far. So ride quality, steering is fine, brakes work out beautifully. Fuel efficiency though, because the last one I drove was the hybrid, and yeah, I did use it. Because if I'm not mistaken, the hybrid and the non-Tremors can haul up to 1,400 pounds payload capacity. Whereas when you go with the Tremor, I guess with a different suspension, the payload capacity drops to 1,200 pounds. I think I got that right. But I mean, look, the hybrid, I had probably close to 1,000 pounds in it. And it doesn't sound bad. I really like that. Yeah, payload capacity, when properly equipped, this thing can tow up to 4,000 pounds. So, I mean, that's just fine. Like I said, even if you have a cottage, you have a small trailer. I'm kidding. It really does, like, 85% of all the work that a regular full-size truck will end up doing in its lifetime. And the bonus, okay, so I was going on the hybrid. I forget what my hybrid fuel consumption numbers were, but they were like in the 6s, probably below that. Now, I'm not driving this Maverick this way all the time, but I am averaging, a little over 10.5 liters per 100 kilometers. Yes, I'm partially guilty for that, because I am enjoying this far more than I thought I wasn't going to enjoy it as much. And even with the Wild Peak tires, early on the throttle, clip the apex, it works out quite well. This is a lot of fun. I mean, it only weighs like 3,500 pounds, this truck, which is decent. I mean, it's a lightweight in comparison to a bunch of others. Yeah, so that's it. The Maverick Tremor, I mean, in the segment, there is no other small pickup, but if you want one, somewhere between the Santa Cruz and this, or what most people will end up doing is waiting for the Tacoma or the Ranger to see what that's all about. Both will be excellent. Still leaning towards the Tacoma. But if even a midsize is a little too big, this is the only answer. Love this thing.